Assalamu alaikum. Recording there, we're just setting it up.
Yeah. Those are, let me, those are, I'm going to do that. Start again. Okay. My end, it looks fine. Good.
If you want to, you can use that, that stand that I have. Yeah, well, I was saying you can clip it on it somewhere.
Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, okay. Was it done time?
Uh-huh.
You have it done time.
Yeah, perfect.
The video is not like that, a little bit of it. It's like, that's like the back, that's like the top back. This is
Perfect.
perfect.
Great, great. Man, you should see it at nighttime and on a pretty day. Oh, it's nice. It's really, you know, because the buildings are lit up back there. It's really nice.
I'm hoping things go well today, inshallah, inshallah. This is the last time I ever have to use this mic. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not ideal. Let's go to Best Buy to get something wireless. It's a lot. This is $10. That's like $130. That would be like, you know, like
this is a $10 mic.
This is Amazon. Yeah. It's nothing or whatever. 15. Yeah. Another one like clip on in your pocket. It's wireless, connects to the phone, and everything. You can move around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also.
So yeah. Well, this would be the time. So I have a friend that's about to leave Best Buy. He works there, but he's like, I'm gonna leave any day now, and I'll find something better. But he gets this huge discounts because he's at Best Buy. So I'm gonna go and buy it. Come with us.
Yeah, I may come over there. You going today? You saying?
You would drive me there?
I'll drive you over there.
Oh, come on, sure. That'd be great. That'd be perfect. Okay. Yeah, and him, he is paying for it, but he basically get like 20-30% out. Like,
is the Best Buy over here?
So the one we're going to, because I wanted to meet him halfway because he lives in Katy. It's like 15, 20 minutes from here. Like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I don't know. We'll see. But it's we'll talk about it after. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Sir, how are you?
Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Good, good. Excellent. This is a pleasure. I do appreciate your time. Tell me a little bit about your story. Go back to the beginning and.
Okay. Well, for one, my name is Kenny Bomer. I'm the author of the book Consider Islam, Disproving the Patriots of Propaganda. And we're here in Houston. As you can see the backdrop back there, alhamdulillah. And I'm actually from here in Houston. I grew up in the 5th Ward and I moved to the Heights area. People who are not familiar with Houston, the 5th Ward is a very, very rough area. The Heights isn't much better. So I grew up in that area. Come from a poor family, a lot of drug activity in my family. You know, it's a broken home, a lot of issues. Welfare people, now they call it Children's Protective Services, but back then it was called, you know, we just referred to them as the welfare people. We're always coming to try to check on us and trying to get us. My brother and I, my younger brother. And so, and had a rocky home life. And at the age of about 10, my parents split up. And so my brother and I went with my mother to Missouri County, which is about an hour south of Houston, in Freeport Lake Jackson area. And after a period of time, my mother met a man from Louisiana working on an oil boat. And make a long story short, in regards to that, my brother and I were abandoned in Freeport. And we were eating out of a dumpster behind a Pizza Hut. Also, sometimes we would go into the Pizza Hut and they had buffet. We would snack something off the buffet when no one was looking, go to the restroom and eat it real quick. Or we would hang around the video games, and when no one was there, you know, no one was looking, we'd take stuff off people's plates that they left. We were just trying to eat. You know, we weren't bad kids. We were just trying to eat. So after a period of time, we eventually got picked up by Children's Protective Services in Missouri County, and we were placed in a youth home, a Missouri County youth home in Freeport, Texas. And that was my first experience with religion. The people that worked there were very, very religious people, very God-fearing people. They were Christians, and that was my first experience with any religion whatsoever. And these people attended what's called Assemblies of God churches, or which are the Pentecostals, which they speak in tongues. And very. If you've never been to a Pentecostal church, it can be quite an experience. Even if you have been there, sometimes it's very eventful. If you've never witnessed someone speaking in tongues, and a lot of instruments. It's a very very interesting setting. And so it was at that church, those types of churches, that I began to question things that I was hearing. And I mean no disrespect towards Christianity by no means. As Muslims, we're not supposed to attack other people and their religion, so that's not my objective here. But from my personal standpoint, my understanding as a youth, I began to question and toy around in my mind about how could God have a son, and how could he be the son that he's the father of? And half the time he's the son, but half of the time he's God in the flesh, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And it doesn't take a brain scientist, a brain surgeon, to come to that conclusion. It just doesn't make sense. It's something that you've got to force yourself to believe. So it was while going to these churches that I would hear common things said repeatedly. And so the most prominent thing that I heard, I was probably about 15, 16 years old at this point. And there was a man that used to preach whenever the full-time preacher needed a break, or he was busy, or whatever the case might be, he would fill in for him. And so on one of those services, this man, very adamant, I'll never forget it. It was actually one of the greatest blessings in my life, alhamdulillah. One of the greatest blessings with this event, because this event that I'm about to describe actually solidified my rejection of Christianity as a whole. And so I remember this man. He was up on the stage, and he had a handkerchief in his hand, sweating, very, yelling very loud. If you've never been to a church like this, it's what's called fire and brimstone preaching. It's messages of condemnation. So if you don't believe like we believe, you're going to hell. And that's exactly what this man stated. So what he came off the stage saying, I don't know why he came off the stage. I mentioned this in my book. I don't know why he came off the stage, because he's yelling loud enough. He didn't need a mic, and he's yelling very, very loud. He didn't need a microphone at all. And he didn't need to get any closer to us, because we can hear him just fine, alhamdulillah. But he comes off the stage, and he says, the face red and sweat. He says very passionately, and he meant it when he said it. He says, Muslims are going to hell. Jews are going to hell. If you don't accept the Lord Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior, you are going to hell. Okay? And so immediately in my mind, I thought, how does he know? I remember I cocked my head to the side. I'm looking at him. He's about 15 or 20 feet away, and I'm looking at him, and that's what went through my mind. How does he know? 15, 16 years old at this point. And in my mind, I actually envisioned the earth. I envisioned all these people on the other side of the earth, different races, different nationalities, different circumstances, different life experiences. And he just condemned them all to hell. And in my mind, I'm thinking, does a merciful God condemn masses of people to hell upon their very conception, knowing that he created these people to be born into these particular families? Of course, as Muslims, we know that everything's a test. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the course of our lives, is going to present us with information, and we're either going to accept that information, those signs, or we're going to reject it. So it's a matter of choice. Allah says in the Quran, let there be no compulsion in religion. Truth is being made clear from error. So Allah's going to show us those signs, and it's up to us to accept or to reject those signs that Allah sends us throughout the course of our lives. But I was questioning, how could this man judge all these people and condemn all these people to hell, people that he doesn't even know? Okay, and so I had a huge issue with that in my mind. And it wasn't long after that I actually was involved in the music business for a great part of my life. And I've actually signed 2 record deals in my life with Ichiban Records. Matter of fact, we originally signed with a company here in Houston called Mr. Henry. Then we signed a major minor deal with a company called Ichiban. And then I wound up, that was in 1986. In 2000, I actually signed another record deal, King B Music. And my partner in the music business, he was actually one of the teachers at the high school, and he was a coach. And at that time, that was back in the beatbox days. This is back in the '80s, so it was different, totally different era. But there was beatbox days, and I used to battle rap in the halls, and I was very good. Alhamdulillah, I was good. And so me and two of my classmates, we knew that this particular teacher and coach, he was one of our coaches also in football, and he was a DJ. He was in his early or late 20s or early 30s, about 28 when I first met him. Actually, he was 28. So a relatively young man, and he used to DJ at the high school dances and different clubs around the area. He was a DJ. We knew that he was a DJ, and they used to put out mixtapes. And so these two brothers that I used to rap with back in the day, we decided we're going to create a group. We're going to ask this coach to be our DJ. We knew that because he was putting out these mixtapes, we knew that he had ties to a studio. And so we went to him, we presented it to him, we rapped for him. Plus, he already knew, everyone at the school knew knew that we were doing what we were doing. So, make a long story short, the two brothers, they were very, very Christian guys, and their mother prevented them from pursuing the music. She wanted them to do Christian music, and this plane back here is not helping us. It's helicopter.
Oh, in this future, I can ask you this. After you go through your basic story, and then maybe that's it for today. I don't know, it depends on how long, or maybe I ask you a few more questions. Waiting for another time. You mind if I ask you questions about Trump in America?
Sure. Yeah. No, that's what we're gonna get to. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll try to get through this part.
Yeah, no, but you don't have to go fast. I want you to announce to somebody. I want you to go your whole history. That's episode 1. Another episode I'll ask you about Trump and politics. Another episode about Christianity. Another to this. Are you in a rush?
I'm not in a rush.
We have to do it all today. Just do one episode.
Yeah.
The focus of this episode is a history of you,
the story.
You, and then it'll be about
sure.
So take your time.
Okay, so these two brothers and I, we approached the coach, and we actually auditioned for him in his classroom. Although he heard us rapping in the hallways, we rapped in the pep rally, also in the locker room. So on the bus going to and from the game, so he already knew what we were doing, but we had never approached him about wanting him to be our DJ. So these two brothers that I was doing this with, they were very Christian, and their mother did not want them to do rap music. She wanted them to focus on Christian music. Both of them played the instrument, guitars very, very well. One played the bass, one played the guitar, and so we started. Initially, they were with us, but we started scheduling studio dates, and they kept missing because the mom wouldn't let them come. Right? And so during one of those sessions, the coach and I, we did the song ourselves. And after we were done, the engineer's like, said, guys, look, this is the group right here. So this is great, And so while testing a sound system in the Missouri County area, my partner's brother, the coach's brother, his name is Norris Muhammad. Originally, his name was Norris Burst. Alhamdulillah. I'm going to get to him in a second. He's the one that introduced me to Islam. Alhamdulillah. So while testing the sound system, his brother was working at a club, and his brother, the man that was the company that was putting the sound system in the club, asked him if they had any music they could just test the sound system with. And lo and behold, he gave him one of our records. It was a 12-inch. Now they don't have records today, but back then it was.
That's really loud. Yeah. Kind of far. Sure. We'll pause that so we don't miss it. Just this.
Okay. So while having a sound system put in the club that my partner's brother worked at, the people that were putting the system in the club asked for some music that they could test the system with. And so my partner's brother gave him one of our 12-inch single. And he played it, and he's like, who are these guys, And he said, that's my brother, He said, well, I've got some guys that I'm going to, can I have this? I'm going to take it to some guys in Houston that I know. This is great, And so, make a long story short, we wound up signing a record deal. And for people who don't know, Ichiban was the first original label that Vanilla Ice was on back in the day. So we were the first. I hate to bring that up because I'm white and he's white, but we were the first hip hop act that signed Ichiban. He was the second, and so just to give people have understand what Ichiban was, it was a big deal, you know, and so so we put out the first album, and between the first and second album, my partner became a member of the Nation of Islam. It's the Black Muslims with Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, and Farrakhan, for people who don't know. Some people, you know, a lot of people do know. But he became a member of the Nation of Islam. And it was at that time that the FOI, which is what's called the Fruit of Islam, the guys with the bow ties that they stand post, they began, our second album was very, very political and had a lot of social messages to it. And a lot of it was influenced, for one, he was older than I was. So, you know, he was a big influence on my life because I had a broken home life as a child. He played multiple roles in my life. He was a friend. He was sometimes a father figure. Sometimes he was a brother to me. And so in the course of all that, the Brothers from the Nation of Islam gave me my first introduction to Islam. And although they, you know, the Nation of Islam isn't Orthodox Islam, the way they carried themselves, the way they treated me, even though I was white, they're black, and they're more of a pro-black organization, they treated me with love and respect. Alhamdulillah. They treated me like I was one of their brothers. But the question came to my mind. They call, matter of fact, the temple that they attend here, they call it a temple. They don't call it a masjid or a mosque. They call their place of worship a temple. And it's Temple 45 here in Houston, matter of fact. So I began to ask about, you know, what's the temple like? What's it like? And they tell me a little bit about it. I tell them, you know, can I go one of these days when y'all go? Can I go? And they said, brother, you can't go there. And I said, why is that? And they said, well, you know, basically because what it boils down to is because it's, you know, because the white man, unfortunately, the white man has done so much damage to the black man. We are trying to keep, you know, other races out of our organization because we don't want infiltration.
Fix your house first before.
Yeah. So right, and I respect that. They're trying to work on the black community, and I understood that to a degree. Then there's part of me is like that's doesn't sound like what I know about Islam to the limited degree that I knew about Islam.
It can't be universal then. That can't be the religion for humanity.
It can't be. Yes.
You know.
Well, but it boils down to it makes it a sect. Makes it a you know, we don't want to turn Islam into Christianity. There's 33 people. A lot of people don't know this, but there's 33,000 different distinct denominations of Christianity in the world. 33,000 different distinct denominations. And most people don't know that. Most Christians don't know that. And so it's quite frequent. Yeah, sometimes there'll be 2 or 3 of them up here because they're yeah. Well, they're getting all the freeways and they're just doing traffic. So yeah, it's probably news time right now. Yes, they're doing the news right now. So they're probably doing live shots.
By the way, I'm not so far from you.
You know, okay.
15 minutes away.
Oh,
Houston, that's super close.
Yeah.
Houston, that's next doors.
Yeah, that's down the street.
I didn't go up to Houston, but for Houston, that's like very close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can see which direction is the medical center. Is that it? What is that building? You see it? What is that?
That's the AIG building.
Well, not 1, 2, 3. That one. What is that?
I'm not sure. I think that's just a housing complex there.
Downtown's that way. We're Midtown, so medical center should be that way.
Yeah, it's that way.
I'm 15 minutes that way.
It is that way. Yeah.
You guys are between.
So
there's no one. So those buildings. That's medical center.
Yeah, that's over there.
That's where I live.
Okay. So this helicopter is okay. So
this is some great content, by the way. This
yeah.
is good. I'm learning a lot. Oh wow, that's super close.
All we needed to do now is to transform. It's so close to.
Can I ask you, how old is your son?
I have one son that's 26.
25.
Yeah.
Oh no way.
Yeah, one son's 26 and one's 15. He's turned 15 in February.
Are you in Houston or no?
Well, they're both in Nixon. My oldest son is. My youngest son is Muslim, but he's with his mother, and she's not Muslim. So,
you guys are divorced or never married?
yeah, I was married 22 years.
Really sorry.
That's a, we'll talk about that
The
eventually.
reason I was asking those is I met two young people. 15 years old is like my age.
Yeah.
Those kids. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
If he's ever in Houston and I want to spend time with somebody, I'd love to. Is there any way I can help?
Yeah.
Just let me know.
Okay. So I began to ask these brothers about the temple, Temple 45 here in Houston, why I couldn't go there. Once again, they said that, they basically, make a long story short, because of the damage that the white man has done to the black community, they didn't want them to infiltrate. They wanted to get their house together, their own house, like you said, get their own community together. And so until they can get their own community prepared, they didn't want any outside influence. Of course, we know as Muslims that's not truly how Islam works. That's not Islam. It's not true Islam. But I understand, I respect their approach. But so my partner and I, Norris, I called him Champ. Everyone called him Champ. And alhamdulillah, I miss him. He passed away a number of years back, but I miss him, alhamdulillah. And so it was one day coming to Houston from Brazoria County. We're riding to the studio, and his Quran is sitting between us. And I pick it up. Actually, the first time I ever touched it, right? First time I ever held the Quran, ever looked at the Quran, I read Al-Fatiha, and it reminded me of the Lord's Prayer in Christianity. Very, very similar. Very, very similar. Alhamdulillah, it's coming from two prophets of Allah. Of course, it's going to be similar, right? Of course, I wasn't thinking on that level at that point.
Sure. No, I understand.
But I did found it to be very similar, and but then when I started reading Al-Baqarah, and it says, "This is the book of which there is no doubt, those who fear Allah," and on and on. It just truly beautiful. It touched me, and I'm thinking, the proclamation coming from our God, our Creator, telling us this is the book of which there is no doubt for those who fear God, who stay steadfast in prayer, who spend out what we provided for them, and on down the line. And as I read that, driving to Houston, I knew that Islam is the answer. Alhamdulillah, I was 17 years old.